Let's look at bills, costs, and budgets in a way that may be different to the way you will find it in a book on financial literacy. We all pay lots of bills. There are bills we pay monthly, there are some we pay quarterly, and some we pay annually. Monthly bills have two subcategories. There are bills where the amount is fixed, and there are bills where the amount varies. Things like mobile phone and credit card and house cleaning bills change because every month we spend a slightly different amount on them. But bills like mortgage or rental, health insurance, life insurance, travel card, etc., the amounts are fixed. The big deal between these types of bills is that if the amount's constant, you can automate paying them and make your life easier. Then there are quarterly bills, like mortgage, property management, heating, electricity, gas, water, sewage, etc. Then there are annual bills. Top of the list is income tax. Then you have property tax, road tax, vehicle tax, education, car insurance, household insurance, and so on. There are different ways of paying bills. Let's start by looking at cash or cheque. Making a cash payment usually involves taking the bill to the branch of a bank or a post office. Using cash remains popular in many countries. However, every day that passes, people use cash less. To continue to pay in cash, people will need to make an effort to get to a branch of a bank or post office. Paying by cheque is just like paying by cash, except that a cheque would be written by the payer for the account of the company that sent you the bill. If checks are still used in your country, it's worth finding out on the web the best way of writing a check. Processing checks is expensive for banks, so their use will probably reduce a lot in the future. Cash and check are still used in countries with less developed financial systems. There are other ways of paying bills. In developed markets, people use online banking to pay their bills. This means using the web-based platform that's provided by your bank. Online banking is usually provided by banks with a branch network and can offer scan or drag-drop to pay bills with a barcode or QR code. E-banking or digital banking is a company that provides banking services without a branch network. Using e-banking apps, bills can be paid by simply scanning them with your phone. Then there's mobile banking. Mobile banking is just a version of the online banking provided by your bank that can be used using your mobile phone. To pay a bill, you scan it with your phone. Another way of paying bills with fixed amounts is a standing order. A standing order is a regular payment that you set up via your online banking. A fixed amount is scheduled to be paid at regular intervals. Standing orders are easy to set up, change, or cancel. Standing orders are used for regularly transferring money from one account to another, say if you want to save a certain amount every month. Making regular payments to family members, making mortgage or rent payments, paying bills with fixed amounts, or paying memberships and subscriptions with fixed amounts. Standing orders simplify the payment of bills, but you should keep copies of the bills for a few years. You'll need them if you want to calculate your annual costs or if a payment goes wrong. A popular way of paying bills is the direct debit. With a direct debit, you sign an agreement called a direct debit mandate with a company that allows it to regularly debit a variable amount of money to your account. Many people use direct debits for paying their utility bills. As direct debits can have varying amounts, it is more flexible. Most countries have strong laws to protect consumers who use a direct debit. Usually, a direct debit can be cancelled through your bank. Obviously, you also need to tell the company that you wish to stop using their services or stop paying by direct debit. When you stop using the services of a company, they should cancel the direct debit automatically, but sometimes something goes wrong. One reason may be additional adjustments or cancellation fees or even refunds to you. Another reason could simply be mistakes. If at the same time as cancelling the direct debit with the company, you cancel it with your bank, you may miss some necessary payments. Always keep a copy of all documents as proof and make sure that they're all clearly dated. If the company continues to charge you, please contact your bank to stop the payments immediately. You can also offer to show the bank your correspondence with the company. Once the direct debit is cancelled, you can start the process of recovering any money that was incorrectly billed to you. In most cases involving mistakes, you will get your money back. Another way of paying bills is using what's called a continuous payment authority. This is an agreement that allows a company to debit fixed or variable amounts to a debit or credit card. The agreement starts when someone signs a form to authorize the company. Many are signed on the streets to help a charity, subscribe to a new magazine, or subscribe to the trial of a new product. In some countries, it can be hard to cancel those agreements if you contact the company itself, either because it's difficult to contact them or the company is too slow or unwilling to respond. In most developed economies, there are effective consumer protection legislation to protect people that have such agreements. Banks can cancel or block future transactions in most cases, but it may be hard to get your money back after it's paid. The company involved keeps the right to request the payments, but they know that if they try to contact you, it would open channels of communication and lead to a cancellation anyway, so why bother? Knowing this, once your bank blocks the payment requests, the company involved often does not pursue the matter and just goes away. Please be cautious before subscribing to any offers using your debit or credit card. If you do, keep a copy of what you've signed and request the contact details of the company and how to cancel it. Most people that sign continuous payment authorities end up cancelling them. Now we come to calculating your costs. It is important to know where your money is getting spent. To do it, you need to calculate your annual costs. You don't have to do it for 10 years. You just need to do it for a year or a bit longer, may say 2 years. And to do that, you start by taking the list of bills on the first page and add food costs, costs of eating out, and cost of holiday. That includes travel, hotel, food, car rental, excursions, and equipment. Food costs tend to be large and include everything spent in shops and supermarkets, as well as eating out. To calculate your costs, the best option by far is to use one of the many budgeting apps. So you come out to the supermarket, just go into your app and type how much you spent and where. And the category, which is, say, shopping or supermarket, what have you. I could suggest that you use paper, you use a notebook, you use an Excel sheet. Nothing will be easier and quicker than using a nice budgeting app. With holiday costs, everything you spend could be added together. However, be careful not to double count costs of eating out whilst on holiday. Once you've collected the data, you have to start analyzing them. At the end of the year, calculate in your budgeting app how much you've spent over the previous 12 months. Everyone's surprised, if not shocked, when they first see the list of their annual costs for the first time. If you did not find it too much effort, carry on recording your expenditure for another year and then compare the 2 years. This exercise will dramatically improve your money skills. You will start looking at your finances differently. Now we come to the subject of costs. How does one reduce the annual costs? Observe your costs and decide if you'd like to reduce some of the costs. It may be possible to reduce some costs, but others may be too hard or impossible to reduce. Many people are surprised to see how much they spend on food. Despite its relatively high amount, it's not easy to reduce the quality or quantity of what one eats. The solution for reducing food costs is intelligent shopping. This means finding the same quality food and drinks cheaper. Home delivery or shopping at petrol stations cost more than in the supermarket. Some supermarkets are much cheaper than others. Some supermarkets are cheaper for certain products. Do your research and find out how you can save money. However, you should not compromise on quality. What you eat affects your health. Eating out is usually part of our social lives, so reducing eating out means reducing social interaction with friends. But there are people who eat out because they cannot be bothered to cook. This is where a lot of money gets wasted. Learn how to cook healthy and delicious meals fast. Eating lunch at work is another area where economies can be made by preparing food at home and taking to work, but not everyone likes to do that. On the subject of costs, how does one reduce the holiday costs? Most people work hard and need nice and enjoyable holidays to rest. People in retirement pay for their holidays from savings. To maintain a good quality of life, they need to watch how much they spend. It is very important to enjoy your holidays, but it's equally important to maintain a balance between what you get and what you pay for it. One needs to have a budget for holidays. Annual holiday costs will always appear high, but that's normal. People who are working should have the discipline to go on holidays they can afford. It is often said that long-term savings should not be used for holidays, except for retired people, of course, and one should never borrow money to go on holiday. Holidays can be some of the most enjoyable experiences in life. Whilst on holiday, spending money on activities often seems essential. Staying at a luxurious hotel or one that someone else has recommended is often not important. Destinations and hotels that other people recommend should be affordable within your budget. If someone borrows money to go on an expensive holiday, should you follow their example? How does one budget? Budgeting is the idea of splitting your income between different cost categories. There are many suggestions proposed in the past, and you will find a lot of different suggestions on the web. One of the most famous rules of thumb in budgeting is the rule of 50-30-20. This suggests that 50% of your after-tax income should be spent on essentials, 30% on wants, and 20% on savings and debt repayment. You will find different definitions for each category on the web. Essentials include unavoidable costs, such as accommodation, food, daily travel, and all necessary insurance and utility bills. Wants include gym membership, clothes, eating out, holidays, etc., that you choose to spend money on, but you don't absolutely have to. Savings could include saving for retirement, emergencies, new home, personal education, children's education, etc. A simpler version is the rule of 60-40, which suggests that 60% of your income should be spent on living expenses and 40% on everything else, typically 30% to be saved and 10% on entertainment and travel and so on. It is sometimes suggested that your rental payment should not exceed 30% of your income, your holidays should not cost more than 10% of your income, and your car loan should also not be above 10% of your income. All these numbers are not hard and fast rules, but they're only to give you an idea of what people normally talk about. Budgeting is a personal matter and depends on your priorities. There is therefore no golden rule for budgeting. The invariable part of budgeting is saving. So saving somewhere between 15% and 30% of your after-tax income sounds reasonable. Holiday is another component that can use 5% to 10% of your income. With these amounts decided and knowing your total annual costs, it's easy to calculate if you can live comfortably within your income. If you cannot, you will need to decide how to adjust your costs to afford the life you want to live. Always remember that reducing savings is borrowing money from your future, and using your credit card regularly to cover costs cannot be a good idea. Dealing with bills and budgets and costs is no fun. the more you learn, the more you know about where your money is going, the more comfortable you will feel about your future. So focus on your future.